The sponsor of today's episode is the ClimbingPill training platform. In 2024, I have put myself a really huge goal for me, which is climbing an 8B. Though it's still quite far away, when I'm using the ClimbingPill, I'm feeling like I'm on the right track. I've been with the platform for a couple of good months now, and I really feel stronger and better. So if you want to check it out, basically it's an app made by Offer Blutreich with a professional climber, a coach, and a physio. And using the app, you have a 24/7 coach support, which is a game changer for me. You have a bot that reminds you every day what you need to do for your training. And it's pretty awesome. So if you want to check it out and get 20% off your first month of training, go to climbingpill.com and check out CDP24. CDP as in Climbing Destinations Podcast. If you're enjoying the podcast and you want to give a hand and be part of the biggest climbing guidebook, audio climbing guidebook ever created, because this is what it's going to be, then you can join the Patreon. The Patreon is a platform for content creators to share their content and for people to chip in and help their creation. So you can join the Patreon for as low as $5 a month, and it can really help a lot, and it goes a long way. So you can find it in the Instagram or at the website or just Patreon Climbing Destinations Podcast. Also, always be sure to check out the website climbingdestinationspodcast.com for other collaborations such as mountain hardware for gear, everything we talked about before, such as the ClimbingPill, lots of information, and of course the show notes for every episode. So if you go and check out the website now, you'd have from Bishop, the first episode, up until Kalimnos and everything in between. All the show notes, the tips and tricks, and everything you need for your next climbing trip. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Climbing Destinations Podcast. I'm Amit, your host, and today we are discovering the climbing in Laos, and more specifically in Thakek, which is a small town close to the border with Thailand in the center of the country. To help us with that, we have the climbing backpackers, Nettie and Dave, a couple from the UK that are climbing their way up Southeast Asia. They have been to India and Malaysia, and they will go through many other countries, and I got them in their stop in Laos. They are doing all of this trip with a challenge of spending not more than 10 pounds a day, which is pretty cool. They share all of their really great content on their Instagram page, so be sure to follow that. Really, really great content. As always, all of the links and the show notes and everything will be in the episode and on the website, so make sure you follow that. I, in the past, have done a 6-month climbing trip in Asia. I was in Thailand, Laos, South Korea, and China, and it was really fun to have this conversation with them to remember some of these spots. And for the first 20 minutes or so, we were chatting about their adventure so far, and after that we got deeper into specifically Thakek, the climbing around there, and I feel we did a good job. We talked quite a bit about the specific climbing, crags, routes, holds even, and as always, lots of practical stuff. And yeah, I'm already ready to go back. So sit back and enjoy this deep dive into climbing in Laos. See you on the other side. Hello, Nettie and Dave.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Good, very hot.
Luckily, we're back at
Yeah,
aircon where we are, so it's a bit cooler here, which is
yeah, that's a nice, it's a nice setup, aircon in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, much needed.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming. It's awesome to have you guys here. I just told you that
yeah, what you're doing is awesome. We're gonna get into that in a second. So yeah, today we're talking about Laos, as you are have spent some time there. But yeah, before we get going, can you share a bit about yourselves and yeah, who are you, what you're doing, and yeah, where are you now, and yeah, whatever you want, take it from there.
Dude.
So in short, we are trying to spend £10 each a day and get to as many sort of both well-known and sort of off the beaten track climbing destinations that we can across Southeast Asia, without blowing our budget, and just like it's kind of turned into us trying to bring out like the places, and then the places that people don't have too much information about as well, just like putting that information out there, and yeah, just enjoying the places ourselves, but it also helps other people with our page.
Nice, really cool. And you guys are from the UK, no?
Yeah, both from the UK.
And how long have you been on the road?
We started
No.
traveling in September. We started in India, and we basically been making our way up through Asia from there. So we flew from India to Malaysia, and we've been going up through Malaysia, through Thailand, and now we're in Laos. So yeah, it's been awesome. So
Amazing. Really cool. Yeah, so jealous. uh, nice. And yeah, what's your favorite until now?
Our favorite what, sorry?
our favorite place. It's hard to say, man. It's like everywhere's different and special in its own little ways. Like one what stands out was definitely Malaysia, just because one, it's not very well known, but like I don't know, it's special that everyone there really is excited that people are coming and testing out their routes and so happy to see you. And the quality there is crazy. Like we went to this place, what was the name of the crag?
Perlis or
Yeah,
Bukit
Ketri.
Ketri.
And the rock there is just crazy. Just like it's basically a hollow cave, and it's got like so many awesome routes within the mountain. So
Yeah, within, on the outside, like
always
some of it's open and there's climbs with it. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's some insane climbing in Malaysia. But just people just go past to Thailand because it's more well known. But yeah, there was good climbing the whole way up Malaysia actually, and the climbing community is really, really psyched as well. It's not like in India, for example, there wasn't really much of a climbing community, and it's like the rock is good, but like there isn't really the vibe there. In Malaysia, it's like no one knows about the climbing, but the locals are like really, really psyched on it.
and there's so much more to discover too.
Yeah, there's so much more
But
to
other
read about.
climbers.
Really? Like not developed there?
Yeah, like in the northernmost part of Malaysia, it's like Perlis, and it's literally what's touched the border of Thailand, because that's how we got to Thailand. 'Cause we've been traveling by land except for that one flight. And yeah, it's like the northernmost part of Malaysia, and there's so much climbing like to be like put up, and there's already quite a lot there. But that's probably, I mean, that's definitely one of the best places that we've climbed ever, let alone on this trip.
Wow, that's big.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the name before. Like I'm a geek for climbing areas for sure, and I heard Peerless, right? Is the what you said? Yeah, in the north. I heard about it, but
Yeah.
just like kind of know about it, and I've seen some of the videos on your Instagram, and yeah, it looks amazing. So definitely should be
Yeah.
more visited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a few years. I reckon it's going to be.
Yeah. People will know about it, I think. Like, even when we went to Malaysia, we didn't really know about it. But as we arrived in Kuala Lumpur, it was like just coming into rainy season, so we didn't time that well. And everybody there, just go to Perlis. Like, you can still climb there and stuff. And we went up there and it was perfect. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And why do you think like it's still not as famous as Tonsai, for example? Or Tonsai is super famous, but like I don't know, other areas.
I think it's so, like, I think what was it for a drive? It's like 5 hours drive I think, away from like Krabi. So I think people just go there instead because Tonsai is such a destination as well with just everything about it, the beach, just the tourism, everything. So,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, true.
well set up for tourists already.
mm,
Where like these other places like Malaysia, they're not really set up. Like there's nowhere you can rent a motorbike, for instance. Like there's no infrastructure for tourists. So it's a bit harder to navigate and stuff, but you know, like as soon as tourists start coming, that will change. So
Yeah. Wow. And like infrastructure for like accommodation for backpackers and stuff near climbing
I
there.
think there was a lot
Is
of
there?
there were a lot of homestays and guest houses all over the place.
Okay.
We actually stayed with one of the guys who is like bolting and like
develop
create
area.
the guys that are developing the area. So we were lucky to stay with them. But if we hadn't, there were guest houses everywhere, and people were so friendly over there too, and like really happy that you've come to Perlis. Like, yeah, people were really nice.
But without the developers and without like the crag, the website of crag, it would have been pretty hard to like navigate. But I think we were lucky enough to be introduced, so like we knew what was happening quite quickly. But if that wasn't a thing, or you didn't know the right people, it would have been like hard to
Yeah.
navigate.
Yeah. So it will take a bit more time for it to go to the climbing traveler.
Yeah,
Like
I think
yeah.
it's going to be the people that go there for a while are going to be the people that are like more adventurous and not just going to the spots that they know about, but eventually it will be brought up.
Yeah. Nice. I'm looking forward for that. Yeah, and now I have another place on the podcast that I need to do an
Yeah.
episode about.
Just a few.
Nice. Just a few. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Laos and Lao, and as well I want to maybe before we get into Lao climbing and all that. So if you can share a bit, because I told you before, like the Instagram page is really amazing, and it will like I will share it on the show notes and everything, for people to see. And just give, I don't know, a general like how did you come up with it, and general about what are you up to, and everything about the travel and the Instagram page and all that.
Yeah. So I think the best way to explain it is Nettie's been like good on our social media, Instagram, before we started traveling, and then when we had the idea to travel, we thought it'd be a good idea to like just start promoting the places and just like show what the climbing's like in these areas. And we're lucky enough to get a work away at our first place we went in India, which was a place called Bidami. And when we went, it was actually quite quiet. There wasn't very many people there. So the guy we're working for didn't have, our job was basically to just belay people if they turned up. But not everybody turned up. So we decided just to do their social media for them and like a community. And then we started like people from Bangalore started coming to Bidami just because they saw our Instagram pages. So we were building up the company in that respect, and then we just basically carried on as we carried on traveling, really, and it's been super fun.
The £10 a day thing was I just read an ebook that out of nowhere called How to Travel on £10 a Day. I just found it online, and then Dave had an injury at the beginning of last year, which meant that he had to sell his business, and
so I had to sell my business because I was a tree surgeon, and my Achilles tendon broke, and it was like 6 months recovery. So there was no way I was gonna be able to keep the business afloat for 6 months without working, because I was the main guy. So we decided that I should sell the business, and then everything basically just fell into place for this trip. And yeah, it was awesome.
that was it. So I read the ebook called How to Live on £10 a Day, and then I typed into ChatGPT like what climbing is there in Southeast Asia. We'd been to Thailand before, but that was it. Dave's been to China. But like with the £10 a day thing and with Southeast Asia, that made the most sense. And way more places that I had never heard of came up. And I was just like, this is like, we have to, there's no reason not to do it. Most fun thing ever. And so far, like we're on budget. A lot of that thanks to how cheap India was to start. Like it gave us a bit of a buffer. So we could overspend a bit in the following places. We haven't really, but we could if we needed to. So yeah.
Thailand was the worst.
Yeah.
Why?
We stayed in Tonsai for a month, probably not the smartest. So if we'd done it the other way around, we started in Tonsai, found the cheapest place to stay there, stayed for a month. And then when we left after a month to go to Krabi, we realized how much, like it's almost 3 times the price, a lot of the things in Tonsai. And if we had it the other way around, we would have probably just like gone to Tonsai a few times. But
for people who don't know, Tonsai is kind of like an island, so everything there has to be shipped in. So, and you're basically capped audience, so they can charge what they want, and you have no say in it. Basically, you just have to pay what they ask. But then there's this new crag. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called Northwalk in Ao Nang Krabi, and because that's on the mainland, 1, everything's cheaper, and 2, the climate there is awesome. Like so nice, so good.
yeah, Tonsai is not expensive, but it is for Thailand and it is for £10 a day budget.
Exactly. Yeah. How do you do with the like I saw one of your videos when you got a coffee for sending, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
So how do you do without coffee? Like essentials, like coffee. I don't know. For me, a beer is kind of essential as well. Like how do you do?
It's kind of nice to like turn something which is an essential into like a treat, because then when you do have one, it's so much better, and it just feels so much nicer, you know. Instead of just like, I used to wake up, I used to just have a coffee and then not even think about it, but now it's like the best thing in the world. It's like so good to have a coffee, like, you know, if you can afford it, if it's in the budget. So it's like so nice to like restrict yourself just so stuff like that feels nicer. But yeah,
Self-torture.
yeah, self-torture.
Yeah, but it's like it's awesome, and when you put it out there, you're really committed, right? Like when you have it in the Instagram page and everything, like you have to try it.
That's the thing. We put it online now, so we have to do it.
Exactly. 'Cause me and my wife, like we travel sometimes and we're like, okay, like we're gonna cook for ourselves these few days, like we're not going out, and then like second day at the evening we're tired, we're like, okay, we'll have a beer, and then like, okay, with some food, and you're like, we're so bad, but when you're committed, it's like it makes it completely different. So
The longer we do this for as well means that like we can last a long time on this budget. And if we go back home, we have to basically start again. So like that's a good reason. Like we'd rather be out here sort of living super modestly for a really long time and just climbing and meeting people in the climbing community than like splash out a bit here, which is never even really much better unless it's once in a while, and then go home early. So it's just like, it's a no-brainer.
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, and it's inspirational, I think, because in my mind, like it's not possible today to do it for £10 a day,
Yeah.
because like the world did get more expensive in recent years, but you prove it, and I don't think you're suffering. So
No, we would be if we were in Europe, though. This is definitely a Southeast Asia. Yeah, I think we could definitely do it. Maybe we could do it on 20 a day each in Europe, and then that would probably be the same amount of like try hard.
But it's tense and
Yeah.
But it'd also be cooler. So a tent would be better.
Yeah, wow. So I had a question that like a few years ago, I think it was 5 or 6, I did like I call it, I don't know if people call it like this, but like the Southeast Asia loop, like climbing loop. So I did Tonsai, Laos, I skipped Vietnam, and I went to
Yeah.
China. So Yangshu and Getu.
Nice.
So you did like, you started a bit like India and Malaysia. And my question is like, is it still, when I was there, it was like very common. So all the way up to China, I used to meet the same people without any planning. And so it's like still the case, like, is it happening?
Yeah, it's still the case.
Glad to
A
hear.
lot of people in Tonsai are here right now. And there's a good amount of people talking about going to Vietnam now.
Mm.
And then who knows, they might be going to China. Some people have also come from China. So it's kind of like, you're just mixing and getting stories from everyone, from everywhere, and what the climbing like is now. And it's awesome just get you sites for more destinations, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Super cool. Super cool. And it also like makes you, when you live the normal life, you're like, you meet people who live like I'm doing with the normal life, like you go to work, the routine, then you meet the same people, you meet people who do the same. But then when you travel for a long time, like you meet people, they do things differently, maybe digital nomads, maybe people like you that are,
Yeah.
so it's awesome.
Yeah, that's something that I find really crazy is like people think that people from home think that what we're doing is like no one else is doing that. It's some crazy thing, but like everyone here is also doing it. Like there are actually so many people doing a similar thing. Like people that just are out for months at a time, which before was just like we'd have a few weeks because we were both self-employed before. We'd have like 3 weeks maybe, I think, as a maximum really before we had to go back because we weren't making money when we were away. But then you come out here and there's even people that aren't working. They're just out here for half the year and they're not on £10 a day. And then it's just people spending like just so many people.
Yeah, that's always strikes me as well, like exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it's amazing. I wonder how it will be. Like, I wish for you guys that you will have it for a long, long time, but how it will be, or what will you do, and like going back to civilization or to UK, it will
For
be
sure.
Back
interesting,
to
I think.
civilization. Yeah. Hopefully the end goal would be to make something out of what we're doing. Like we'd love to get involved in like bolting and like helping to develop places and stuff. That would be really cool. And if we can make £20 a day, then we can keep doing this as well. So
Nice. So, Lau, can you give us a bit of a general and introduction of, probably it's not the climbing in Laos because there is more, but like where you are right now, which is Thakek, right?
yeah, we're in Thakek. Not at Green Climbers Home, but actually staying in town because our budget dictates it, and it's actually better in our opinion because we have aircon right now and a little fridge, which we don't have at Green Climbers Home.
The Green Climbers Home is actually where the climbing is, and that's it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's like 20 minutes away from Thakek town. So I like Tonsai. If you stay there, everything you consume, like food and water and drink, has to all be like shipped in. And so for that, everything, including power, is like more expensive. So it's cheaper to stay in town for us and then commute in because we just want the rocks. We don't need power or food when we're there. But there's a lot of people staying there too, and it's like super convenient because obviously everyone's just a climber and there's just a vibe there. But unfortunately for our budget, it doesn't dictate. So
yeah, Green Climbers is definitely the place to be for the social side of it, but I don't feel like we're missing out too much. We get there, we meet up with everyone that's already been there because they slept there all night, and then we all climb together. We just leave earlier and turn up later. But
if I was a solo traveler, I would probably be staying there just because you couldn't just come to town on your own every night and just sit in your room on your own. So no traveler, definitely I would stay there, but staying in town as a couple is definitely a good shout.
Yeah.
The only problem is the road to Thakek, to Green Climbers from Thakek. It's like, people say there are quite a lot of potholes, but it's actually quite a good quality road at the moment. I guess they just resurfaced it. But the trucks from Vietnam are just crazy. Like, they all just overtake. Like, I learned that the 2-lane road is basically a 3-lane road. And you're to the side. And yeah, there's no mercy on that road. I've got this, like, you just wait until a truck overtakes me and then just get behind it. Because no one's going to mess. So I just hide behind the truck for like 20 minutes on the way to get back. And yeah.
That's scary. Okay. So I was thinking to start with the climbing and then going to the essentials, like the practicals. So climbing. So the style, yeah, like sport. I know, like most people would know maybe, but sport, trad, boulder, whatever. And then like the style of the rock and all of that. And yeah,
There's they got bouldering there, but we haven't tested it out. But it looks like quite a lot of bouldering. Quite a lot of people do it and like it.
seriously, I
all
didn't
the
know.
great, yeah, up to V8. There's a lot of stuff. They rent pads at Green Climbers Home, so you can go bouldering. But we're just mainly sport climbing there. And it's actually surprising the variety there is here. Like, there's, I mean, there's not very many slabs per se, but there's like a lot of vertical stuff, like technical vertical, and a lot of like ridiculous overhanging caves. But the good thing about the caves here is it's just got glory jugs everywhere and handlebars, like monkeys through these caves. It's obviously, there's harder things too, but there is a lot of like, I've never seen a cave with a 6B in before.
Like a full-on roof, horizontal roof with like, I think there's 3 6B pluses in that roof.
Yeah.
No
and
way.
a 6C, and just so many 7s. And if this is like fully horizontal, like there's one route that's a 6B plus, and it's called, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like Saujbert or something like that. But it translates to pig birth, which is gross. But it's because you just like swim through this weird rock canal.
Like a cave. You go through this cave.
Yeah, like more caving than it is climbing, but it's, yeah, just like insane features in this roof that there can be routes of that grade and like quality ones as well, not just like thrown up there. It's just, yeah, some really crazy rock.
That's amazing. So yeah, bouldering and sport, and yeah, crazy. Do you know how many routes are there around?
I think it's like 700 and something. I'm not sure exactly, but it's a lot. Yeah, Dave can find out. I'm not sure exactly how many it is, but they're also bolting at the moment. As far as we know, there's more stuff being put up, and they have a guidebook for this year as well. So they're constantly developing it. But yeah, look, plenty, more than 700 for sure.
The best thing about the overhanging roof sections is the 572 routes apparently.
572, not 200. 150.
The best thing about it is because it's like well maintained by a Green Climbers Home. Like, all the roof sections all have quick draws on, so you don't have to worry about cleaning the ridiculous overhangs. You can just like rock up and climb, and then just like, if you fall off, you just come. Yeah, it's awesome. I don't think I've ever seen a place like that before.
No, it's necessary though in that roof. Yeah.
But it's also confusing. There's quick draws hanging like literally everywhere. Like a grid of quick draws. And you've been before.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, and yeah, I think I was like, I couldn't enjoy to the fullest the roof because I wasn't climbing those grades back then, and I just remember it looked like amazing. But yeah, I remember, I think one of the first 7As I climbed, or 7A plus, was it in, it's called Switzerland.
Yeah, our friend, that's a hangover, the crag hangover. We haven't done much thing.
Hangover, yeah.
Yeah. Someone was telling us
Yeah.
about this route.
Nice. Yeah, so that was a couple of years back.
Nice.
And yeah. So yeah, the roof, I said I will put in the links and stuff in the show notes, because really the videos, like I haven't seen videos from there since, and the stuff you're uploading is like, it's like my hands are getting sweaty just to watch it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Thakek's like in a canyon. So there's two sides, and like hangover is like got morning shade, and then the other side is where the cave is and stuff, and that's got afternoon shade. But because like we're in town, it takes 20 minutes to get in. We normally don't make it for the morning crags, so we haven't done them as much as the afternoon crags. So we're more on the other side with the cave and the roof and stuff. So.
Yeah, and I guess you can get like quite a lot in the cave. It sounds super fun.
Yeah,
just infinite climbing. And it's not just the roof section over that side. I think there's more climbing that's in the shade in the afternoon than there is in the morning, I think.
there's definitely harder stuff.
Yeah. A lot of the easier, not easy. There's hard stuff as well, but like if you are a beginner, it's probably better for the morning crag.
Except for one C plus, I can think there's only up to the grade 7B plus in the morning shade side, and then everything harder is on the other side. So, but you haven't just got the roof on the afternoon side. You also got a wall called Hilton, which it's got a lot of easy two for climbing, and then it's got like this really technical section where there's this route called like Special Forces, which goes 7C plus.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like super cool technical climbing, completely different to the roof. And it's like, like 200 meters? And like the stop, the complete opposite. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just about to ask if there is like, you would say, like a prominent style, or is it like you can say it's mainly tufas or pockets, or is pretty much everything?
It's got pretty much everything. Like there's this a climb Nettie just did in this afternoon area called World Trip, which it goes at 7C plus again.
Which one? Directus?
Yeah. And like that's, apart from 1, 2, 3 at the top, it's pretty much all just like technical, crisp, balancy, like completely different to anything else.
Yeah. I think you're either doing face climbing or like nice tufa sort of flow stony routes, or if you're in the roof, then you're just climbing horizontal. Like it's very, very aggressive. Yeah.
And like someone punched holes into the roof. And like some of these holes just like loop over, so you're literally holding handlebars in the roof.
Wow, really good. And the bolting, how is it?
It's good. Like it's all looked after. There's some
questionable slings
and questionable like where they put the bolts. Like, why did you put it right next to the ledge where you could have put it a meter higher? But apart from that, like, yeah, it's good.
I think mostly it's very good, and then there's like some where it's just like I don't know what they were thinking.
And very well vaulted, like.
Not, you don't get a lot of run out.
No, like I'll be surprised if there's one like more than a meter. Like, it's normally half a meter between the bolts. It's pretty
very friendly.
Yeah.
Nice. Go for the on-site.
Yeah.
Sure.
Nice. Yeah, really cool approaches as well.
Other than one crag called Canyon, where it's like a pretty, it's a very aggressive scramble up to a literal canyon. Other than that, which is like still not a long approach, but just very steep and like sweaty. Other than that, it's all flat, very like there's basically no approach to most of the crags. You just rock up, put your stuff down, and you're good to go.
And if you're staying at Green Climbers, like as soon as you're there, you don't need a bike or anything. You literally can walk to all the crags, at all walking distance. Super chill, super easy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it makes me want to go back. It's so much fun. Now, I wanted to ask, do you think, so as we said before, so many people do the circuit. Would you go to Laos, to the Green Climbers, specifically for like from Europe?
Yeah, I think so. I think that out of everywhere that we've been so far on this trip, this is the best climbing. Yeah. There's just so much. And it doesn't really matter what grade you're at either. Like, there really is something for every grade here, which you could say about the other places as well, but I mean, not really. Like, Tonsai, it's like, yes, there is stuff in the 6s, but there's not really anything below that, and it's not on the beach, which is the main climbing area. It's like you have to wait till the afternoon and go up to some of the other walls, and it is there, but it's not as convenient. In northern Malaysia, again, you kind of want to be climbing at least 6B or 6B plus to enjoy that climbing very much. In North Malaysia anyway, I think there's easier stuff around Kuala Lumpur. But then here it's like it's all in one place. And there's so much of every grade. Like there's more variety here for grades than anywhere that we've been so far. I would definitely come from the UK just to come here for a trip, to go back to the UK if I had the chance. Like, if that's what I was doing as a holiday, I would come here. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I would compare it to like an Asian Kalimnos, where like it's the only place I've been where you can be climbing like a 8A or even at 8B, and like someone you're with could be climbing a 6A right next door. Like in the canyon especially, it's just yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, that's really special. Yeah, wow. Okay, we'll talk about how to get there and stuff in a bit, because that's next. But okay, while we are there and talking about the climbing, so if you have to say, yeah, your favorite crags, which I think we know already, like in there in Laos, in Thakek, and then the best routes if you have like a couple that you really liked and or you are like really happy you did or tried to do.
I think, yeah, it's been pretty clear that we love the roof. But there is another called Music Hall, which I really love as well. It's like everything's sort of named after
musicians or music.
Yeah, musicians, things to do with instruments. And like there's at the back of the crag, it has all that sort of really strange flowstone, like it looks like an organ. I think it's called the Organist or something as well, like that part at the back. But just this really crazy rock formations with like there are some 5s there. There's a 5 at the back called Caveman, I think.
Yeah, the only one without a musical name.
Yeah, okay, without the musical note. It's just this insane, like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just holding on to like tubes of rock and just so unique and cool.
And it's a 5, so you're literally just walking up the side of it, and then at one point you have to like crawl through a cave, and then you come out the cave and you keep on going, and like it's just, again, that's completely different to any other crag in the area, and it's only like 500 meters away from everything else.
But yeah, just so close to everything, but then just so different. But then like, what would it be? Specific route, my absolute favorite is one called Small World in the roof, and it's 7B plus /C. If someone was to set it in a gym, I would think it was like really, really well set. It had double knee bar, upside down, no hands rest, which I put in a recent video because I only went up it the other day, and it's just like the coolest thing. Just like super unique.
I even love the crux. Like you think that's gonna be the hard bit. As soon as you get out onto the lip,
yeah,
like the crux hits you then. And yeah, it's quite a fierce battle to get over the bulge, and carry on climbing.
The only respite you get is the knee bars, just loads of knee bars to like get something back before doing the actual crux. And then it's a long way to...
Yeah, and then it's still like 20 meters from there to
20
the top.
meters.
I think so.
It can't be. Yeah, you do well.
I like one called Phoenix. It's literally just 2 routes to the left of Small World. So kind of similar. But I like it because of the variety and style in one route. So you start and you're basically on this one massive twofer, but it's too big to like hold. So you kind of like squeeze your way around it. It's kind of awkward and like desperate in places. But then once you get on top of that, you got a cool roof section, which has got like glory jugs in there to just like swing through the roof. And then after that, you get onto the lip, onto the face, and you got this like massive undercut, which is probably like 4 or 5 meters long, which you have to traverse left on. And it's big enough to get, it's big enough to get like knee bars in to rest. But like, because of you just come over the lip from the roof, you just feel super exposed, and you just got one bolt. You got like between the lip and the undercut, you got about a foot. So basically there's no feet apart from like literally really close to the under. Yeah. And you like, the bolt is by your feet, and you have to do this like desperate throw at the end to like this jug pocket, and you just feel so intimidated because your feet could just like slip out at any moment. And then after you get past that, you get like a nice rest. But then you get like a technical face climb at the end, which has actually got like the biggest crux in it. And you've got these like really horrible, like crimpy, slopey holds. And yeah, it's just like, without giving too much away, it's like really technical.
Better.
Take a break. The whole route.
It's just super technical to the top, basically. And yeah, just to get all of that in one climb is just like awesome.
Phoenix.
Yeah, And for beauty, one in a place called The Cave. You probably went there. It's like by Camp 1 where everyone swims. And there's a climb there. And it's just like, it just overlooks the whole cave. And it's just so nice. It's just so beautiful. Like 7B plus. And it's just beautiful. Yeah. It's only the way to describe it. And you also reflecting off the water onto the rock, like illuminating all the holes. It's so nice. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds awesome. What grade is Phoenix?
7C. But I think it's hard. 7C.
Yeah. How is the grading really? Like, yeah.
For Asia, I think it's on par. Like it's the same as everywhere else. Because of my injury, I can't really compare it to things I've done before, because I don't know where I'm sitting in the grading scale. But yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. Obviously, it's like most places where some are softer and some are like harder. And there's a lot of downgrade. So like there's
Slash grade.
So instead of actually downgrading it, they just put slash grades on. So one called Big Smile, and it's I keep on smiling, sorry, and it's like 8A/7C plus. Let's go. Make your mind up.
It's like Small World is 7B/C. I think the grading for the most part is like pretty fair. You have like, because we were saying there's the different styles, there's like the really overhanging like bouldery stuff, and then there's the really technical stuff. It seems like a lot of the people here at the moment, like the people that are really good on like small fingery routes with like crappy feet, they seem to think that those routes are soft, and then like the burlier ones are hard, but then the people that are into that style like the other way, and they think that the other ones are hard and these ones are soft. So I think it is probably about right, but like the styles vary a lot. So like, yeah, it's what suits you is always going to feel easier. But yeah, there's just a lot in different styles. I think for the most part, it's
on par.
Pretty on point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense also what you said. And it's really amazing you can find the same like styles, like the roof and the super technical. Yeah, so good together. It's really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's cool to like be shut down by someone on a different style, and then it completely changes on the other style. It's like everyone gets their
Yeah, you got people that just live in the roof and never climb anything else. The
Yeah.
technical ones, and it's like same with us.
Any more? Like, how did you do in your time now? Did you mainly project, or did you do go with everything? Or
I've basically completed everything in a roof apart from one 8A plus, which I'm semi-projecting, but it's basically got two cruxes. Once you're 15 to 20 meters off the ground, and they're back to back, and for me, it's probably like a V6 into a V5. So it's pretty unlikely that it's going to go, but it's so fun just getting there. It's like 7B route to get there, so it's just like really enjoyable to just get there and fall off, like climbing before you fall off. Nettie's pretty much every project she's tried.
Yeah, I kind of came to so everywhere that we've been so far, I've not really projected anything except for one route when we were in Badami, India. And that's only because I'd kind of done everything that I could at my level. And it was the last thing there. So I was just like, I'll just try this. And I spent a long time on it and then got my hardest grade. But since then, I've just the grade that I would be projecting would be around 7C. But there just seems to have been a lack of them everywhere we've been. So I've been quickly doing 7B, 7B plus, I'm feeling really comfortable doing them within a session or two. And then when we came here, I knew there were loads of 7Cs and I was just like, all right, now I'm actually going to find a project. And then I kind of did a couple really fast. And then
Nice.
one that I would call a project, which was the 7C plus, called Changing Plans Directissimo. And I had 4 sessions on that. And now I'm done projecting. That's as much projecting as I'll do because I want to do everything. So yeah, I'm excited to project. And now I've done a few of those grades. And now I still want to do them, but I just don't want to spend days on more than 2-3 sessions unless I get really, really psyched. But yeah, I want to climb everything.
Yeah, I get that. So yeah, if someone is into roof climbing and what's we said 6B plus in the roof and up until 8.
8A plus is the hardest.
Wow, that's crazy that
Yeah.
that it's so steep and it's only not really only, but only 8.
20 meters to the right of the roof, there's an 8C. So
So that's more
enough.
a slab, right?
That's basically a slab into a 8A boulder problem.
Yeah.
So
The roof
No way.
featured, but
12 boulder problem.
you can't make it harder than 8A plus because there's too many good holds.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah, you can train really hard on roof climbing and then go to Thakek and just crush at the roof.
Yeah, definitely. Boulder bros, but with endurance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you can do 100 pull-ups, you're good for roof.
Learn to leap.
And knee bars.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a new bar.
100 pull-ups with 100.
Exactly.
Yeah. Core and biceps. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's super fun. Okay, cool. So we covered quite a bit. You have more stuff to say about the I don't know, specific routes or climbing specifically?
I'd say there's one that's I want to say one that's actually in the 6s. There's a 6C, a canyon called Donkey Kong, and it's by far my favorite. I think it's probably it's in my top 3 of my. You can explain the canyon, yeah. Go on.
As we said earlier, it's hard to approach canyon because you have to walk halfway up the up the mountain. It's like a scramble. But when you get there, it's got two. It's like basically a big crack in a mountain, and you got about 2 meters,
Yeah, 2.5 meters.
2.5 meters, and then like each wall goes up like 40 meters, and like
Wow.
if you were flexible enough, you could probably put a foot on either side. So like you're falling into this crevasse,
With roots on each
oh
side.
yeah, and your belayers at the bottom. And yeah, you're 16.
Yeah. So like on one side of it, there's a really long 6C, Donkey Kong, and it just has really, really flowy moves. But then the thing that's really cool is like there are 2 fossilized shells like in the first third of the route that you use as holes.
Wow.
And they're super deep.
That's amazing.
It's like they've just become the rock.
And
Wow.
fingers like right behind them.
It's like an indoor, but like it's a fossilized shell. Like it's just the coolest thing ever. And even if those shells weren't there, it would be like a 10 out of 10 route because the moves are just so nice as well. But that was like the cherry on top, just these awesome holds.
Amazing.
Best route
Amazing.
for sure.
Nice. And there are plenty of like 5s and 6As for like
I think there's
more
more in the 6s than there are in any other grade, I think. Yeah, there are a lot. Yeah, so I think there's actually the most 6As and 5Cs, I think, are the highest amount of routes there, which is pretty crazy, actually.
That's the
it is.
That
24 5Bs.
Yeah.
21 5C plus, and then 39 6As.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
So there's like, there's a lot for everyone.
Wow. Nice.
That's actually the
yeah, it is.
been doing enough of.
Who's gonna sink boulder?
Yeah, we should.
Can't do them all in the day.
There you go. Your next challenge.
At a 38 degree heat.
No, I'm all right.
Okay, about I think it's obvious, but like finding partners and climbers hangout. That's like easy.
Yeah, there's so many solo travelers staying at Green Climbers Home, but it would be a lot better if you were staying at Green Climbers Home and not in town, which I think you'd opt to do anyway if you're on your own. But you don't have any problem finding a belay.
In season, anyway.
You can't come here out of season.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, leads perfectly to the next question. So the season and
So like as far as we know, Green Climbers Home at least is open from the beginning of October until the end of May, and then it gets so flooded over the other months that like it's not climbable. Everything here is built on stilts. Yeah, and like you can kind of tell as well because the ground is like so cracked and you can see where the water's run through it and then it's all dried out and cracked. But I guess that all fills up again, and yeah, the wet season is you can't climb.
wow, that would be interesting to go there at the wet season. Like I can't imagine it even.
Apparently, you have to get a boat to the Green Climbers Home. It's like it's on stilts and you can't.
Seriously,
Yeah. Sort of.
that's insane. Okay, so it's open only in those months, and then yeah, that's the season, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the season, and I think like we're pushing it as well. Being here in, I mean, what even it's March, right? I'm so lost with around sort of like Christmas, January, February, I think is like better conditions than
Like,
Yeah.
other ends of the
like 15 degrees.
yeah,
So-
like good climbing. Just before we turned up,
Wow.
that it was almost cold, almost 15 degrees, not cold, but like for Asia. Yeah, we arrived and it got really hot.
We're experiencing like an Asian heat wave here at the moment too. So it's like it's hotter than the guys here are used to. So they're used to like 28 to 30, and it's like hitting like 38, which is like unheard of this time of year. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're really looking
Yeah.
forward to the good conditions that are coming the day after tomorrow. And those good conditions is still like 30 degrees. It's just compared to what
Wow.
we've had, we're like, please just drop a little bit. Yeah. It's climbable, but it just saps you.
You have to take a towel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like your
Literally, yeah.
towels. It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Is it like as humid as Tansai?
I
Not as humid as Tonsai.
even the worst conditions we've had have been better conditions than in Tonsai. And also there's like friction, which there is not in Tonsai anymore. Like the rock here
Yeah.
has so much friction, which is like,
Yeah.
obviously if it's really hot and your skin is soft, it means you lose skin, but it's still like, it's great. Like there's really good friction here. It's not, there are routes that are polished, but not really.
On the route Nettie was explaining earlier, Small World, there's a hold on there which people call the crystal ball, because it's like the only polished hold in Thakek, and it's like it's literally like a crystal ball.
It's a foot as well, so you're exposed and you stem out. This is after the crux as well, so you don't want to drop it, but you're like splitsing out to this.
Crystal.
Just it's like a bit of a dual text. Yeah, it's a literal crystal ball. You just need to stand on
Oh no.
around slowly, like just nothing underneath.
And just
Yeah,
hope the rubber.
you know.
Yeah.
But
You get a rest beforehand. Then probably better take your shoes off and do the rest.
Yeah, I thought I would, to be honest.
No.
It's okay. It's a cool foothold. Just a bit scary when you don't drop it.
Nice. Okay. So we discussed like when to go, where to stay. Obvious. Two options basically: the Green Climbers Home, or where you are in Thakek.
We should say
the
as
Green
well
Climbers Home.
that
Yeah.
like, if you do stay in town, the options are online, which are online, are not good. Like it's a
Okay.
lot better to like book 1 or 2 days in town and then go around and ask the homestays like how much, and have a look at the rooms, because we were paying 3 times as much for a room with like holes in the walls and no aircon. And we found this like gold mine of a place here, and it's like it's not online. You can't find it anywhere. Like even on Google Maps, well, it's not listed, but like they are here. They're just hidden, you know.
What are the prices around, like ish?
We're currently paying 130,000 kip, because the numbers are just mind blowing. But that works out at just under £5 a night, which is crazy.
Wow, that's cheap.
We weren't expecting to have aircon. We've not had. This is the most bougie room we've had on this whole trip. Like, we've not been picky at all. We've been in our tent at times and stuff, but right now we have aircon and a fridge, which is just unheard of. So for the price we're paying, it's just like, if you stay in town, you'll be paying a third of the price that you would at Green Climbers, and also food and everything's cheaper over here. It's just that you have to commute and it's a bit less convenient.
Yeah. Wow, but that's really cheap.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's like almost India prices, no?
I've had some people from India on our page say, "Oh, this is better than the prices we can get here."
Apparently, yes.
Wow, nice. I actually wasn't sure if it's like possible to sleep in, to stay in Thakek. So that's a good.
Oh,
good
yeah,
tip.
it's very possible. Like, really, there's so many guest houses and stuff. It's really easy.
Nice. You touched on food, so let's go to there. Like, are you guys foodies, or you enjoy it?
We can't be right now. No. Yeah, we're trying to eat very cheap. Like, for breakfast every day, we have this bag of oats that we put chocolate milk in and then cut bananas up into. That is literally our breakfast almost every single day. So that's kind of sad. But places for dinner, we can only really say about budget places, and then that one place I really like.
It's food places which are like on our budget, it's really just rice and vegetables, and it's not,
Okay.
it's like the flavor's there, but it's not like you're not excited to eat, you know.
Okay.
It's a more expensive place in town. It's like it's not even expensive. Like a pizza's like €7 or something, but they're super nice. But yeah, the only way to really say it is we were at dinner earlier, and Nettie was looking at places in Vietnam, and we were drooling at how good the Vietnamese looking whilst we were
Yeah.
at the place today. Still,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Laos
Okay.
is not as exciting as like Thai food is just always amazing. But I don't know why it
Yeah.
carried on over to here. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are some
Interesting.
places though. Like we found a really good coffee shop,
mm.
like a really good coffee shop
we
called
got
Yoko.
they got good coffee and that.
Very
I
cute.
make it themselves.
Yeah, and then if people are on a budget, the place that we're eating most of the time is called Six Friends, and it's like a Thai family. But it is more of it's a budget place. It's not like a good food place. Not bad food, but
Yeah.
like, it kind of changes every time, even if you order the same thing. So
We like it because you get to eat vegetables and stuff. It's not just like
yeah,
just not. There's a lot of places which like just like soup places where you just get like
soup.
you just get meat and some like sad looking vegetable. Not even vegetables, cabbage basically with no nutrients in. So like this, at least you can get like broccoli and carrots and
Mhm.
oh yes, so
We're not a good example
Yeah.
of food, unfortunately.
No, but that's good. That's good. It's good tips. I mean, yeah, I think many people are trying to stay on a budget and still eat well.
the other thing to say
Yeah.
is like you climbers, we have eaten there like I think just once, right?
Yeah,
And the food there is really good.
yeah. But
Really nice.
if you're not on a budget, eating at Green Climbers is they're really nice food.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, they really give you the whole kind of the whole deal there.
Yeah.
And like
Easy for vegetarians and vegans too. Where in town, like you really have to think about it a bit more if you are.
and they're looking at it from the health side as well. By the looks of it, it's like
Yeah.
it's healthier food than in town and stuff like this. So
Mhm. Yeah.
we support it.
Okay, so it's not it's not Thailand in terms of
No.
of food.
No, no,
Not here anyway. Can't speak.
Yeah.
yeah, not in Thakek. I don't know about the rest of the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
We might just be finding the bad restaurant, but we're pretty unlucky. Yeah, so-
All right, that's good. And I mean, you arrived there by land, but do you know to say how to get there? Yeah, if you're
Most
coming from other places.
Yeah, most people are flying to Bangkok, and then they just get there's two options. You can either fly from Bangkok to a local airport, and then get a taxi to the Friendship Bridge between Thailand and Laos, or you could do what we did: is we caught a bus from Bangkok to the Friendship Bridge, which was what 8 hours, overnight bus,
And like
something like
a
that.
long bus.
And then there's a bus stop which takes you a bus which takes you from the town in Thailand to the town here. So
Yeah, like you cross. The bus does the whole thing for you. Crossing from Thailand, you stop at the border crossing, and then it takes you to Thakek. So that's pretty handy.
it's pretty easy. And then from there, like if you want to stay at Green Climbers Home, you would have to get a taxi from Thakek to Green Climbers, which is like 20 minutes. Or you could do what we did, and we just rented a bike from town. So
Mhm. And how is it like? Is it expensive?
I mean, the taxi from the bus. I can look on
if you get a taxi from Thakek to Green Climbers, it's 250,000.
which is, I don't know, was it a tenner or something?
Yeah, it is.
I think it's 10.
Pounds.
Okay.
To get across the border, it was super cheap, wasn't it? It's like £3 or something.
Yeah, the buses are insanely.
And that was to get from Thailand to Thakek.
Yeah.
So Yeah,
Oh.
apart from getting 2 good climbers, it's cheap. It's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then one thing we forgot to mention about the climbing is what do you recommend gear wise? How rope length, quick draw, stuff like that.
You can rent gear here, and it looks like good gear, but we haven't obviously done that, and we don't know anything about prices or not, but it is an option if you are just traveling through Asia. Most of the routes have a roof, say they're like 38 meters, but we haven't struggled with a 70-meter rope purely because they're so overhanging that like you don't have to go down that far. So yeah, a 70-meter rope has done us well.
Yeah, not just in the route. I think almost everywhere 70 meters is going to be enough. There's like very few routes where it says that you need an 80. And even on those, you can rethread. So
Yeah, there's only one route I've done which we had to rethread it. It's called Shoot the Dog. And it was a 7A, and it just went on forever. And yeah, it's like 6B into a 7A. And even with a 70, you can retire at the first anchor. So no problems.
Nice. Cool. So I think that's it. Rest days. What are you doing?
there's like caves and stuff to visit around here. But that is kind of it. Like, it's very, very chill for rest days. There isn't really like much going on in the town. It's like super rural, in the middle of nowhere. Green Climate has loads of like slack lines, and people just go
That
and
line's open.
hang out.
So
Yeah, there's like the cave that you can swim in. There's a slack line over a little like pond, I guess.
yeah, it's true.
Just really, it's just on rest days you just relax.
Hang out with people,
hang out.
watch rock TV,
Yeah.
Shrek.
Yeah.
Sure.
And eat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Do you have last things before we go to add about whatever?
Nothing specific. Just that it's definitely worth. Like, I would come here just to come here without doing the whole like climbing loop. Like, it's definitely worth it just for this one like chunk of Asia for sure.
The only other thing I can think of is like visas. For Laos, it's visa on arrival. So as soon as you get to the border, you pay for a visa on your arrival, and it lasts 30 days. And then we've just done an extension for our visa in town, which is super easy. Just like 5 days before our visa was up, we just gave our visas to the our passports to the visa office, and they took, what was it, like £20, €20, and then they gave us that extension for another 30 days. So yeah, it's super easy to get visas here. You don't have to apply beforehand or anything. So
Yeah, good tip. Nice. Well, thanks so much for doing this. You guys are really awesome, and the content you produce is awesome. So keep doing it.
Thank you.
And yeah, keep crushing, climb, enjoy.
We
And
will.
Maybe we'll see you around in some
Yeah.
in some crack
yeah,
around
next
the
time
world.
we'll do Malaysia. We'll do Perlis.
Oh, what we'll get you out to Perlis.
Yeah, should happen.
Cool.
Cool, guys. Have a good night.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Ciao.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi again. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to this deep dive into Laos. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. And I can't wait to one day go back and climb on this huge and amazing roof we're talking a lot about. So as always, make sure to check out the website, show notes, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Ciao, ciao.